Um, yeah, I mean it's become a position that is high importance or high priority to have a guy that can work the slot. He's usually a guy that you can create mismatches with. He's usually, I mean, some people look at slots as a bigger receiver. I think traditionally a lot of people think of it as a quicker type guy that can work the inside a little bit. Certainly we've got one of those, but yeah, it is important. And it's just another position to where you can potentially have a mismatch that you're looking for.
And defending that position, I know guys. A lot of times when I talk to Jamar and these guys, they say you have to be good in space. You have to be able to negotiate traffic. Is that true? Do you think that's true of the slot defender?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, your slot defender's he's got a lot that he's got to play in there. Again, he's got to be a guy that's a fast twitch guy, and he's reacting to whatever that receiver's doing inside. There's a lot of pivot routes. There's in cuts. There's spin routes at the top. So a lot of misdirection type things that come at those guys. And you could sometimes it's easy to double the slot receiver is the one thing that pops up. But then the problem is that you're singled outside. And so, like, defensively, if you want to do that, that's great. But now you got one-on-one. And a lot of times, if you're going to double inside, they don't always press outside, which, so you get a good one-on-one outside. But there's, if you're going to do something one way, you're going to have to give something up on the field.
And can you remember as a player, as a coach, ever being...
Hold on, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sticking with that theme, Bobby Kane, I know you talked about his toughness and how competitive he is. But is he ready to be under constant attack by Tom Brady?
Well, I guess we'll find out, I mean, it's at some point every player in this league had to go in there as a young player and prove himself. So, Tom Brady is as good as they come. And, I don't care who you are, he's going to go after you. And whether you're a vet, whether you're a young guy. But, we said this before, Bobby's as ready as anybody. He's gotten better every week. He did a nice job in the Texans game. He's a confident kid, and he'll give you everything he's got. So, hey, that's all you can ask for in a guy like him. Yes, sir.
Can you remember as a player, Coach, if you had a player similar to Jarvis who gives a team a jolt of energy by the way he plays, by the effort he gives on the field, by how dynamic he is? Do you remember anybody like that you've had?
Well, Jarvis is a unique player just in that regard. The closest I would say for me was Ike Hilliard. I always thought a lot of Ike. He's one of the guys I'll never forget. He was a high-energy, fast-twitch guy. But there again, Jarvis is something special. I mean, it's hard to find a guy like him. He plays like he's 250 pounds. I mean, he's all out all the time.
Is there a tangible thing you see in terms of that energy translating to your team?
Well, yeah, I just think that when he plays the way he does, and like I say, he plays bigger than he is, it does give a jolt of energy to his teammates, and it makes them want to raise their game and play for him.
Yeah, talking to a lot of older NFL guys, when they watch Gronkowski run free and nobody hits him, does that drive you crazy? Has that driven you crazy in the past?
Well, I've seen people try to hit him, and he runs over them. So listen, they do a good job too, though. Running free. I mean, they do a nice job with their play action passes. They'll do enough to where he's blocking, or it's protection, or they'll run a certain play a number of times, and all of a sudden they release him, and if you're a linebacker, you got to play your gap. I mean, you have to play for the run first, and so that's kudos to them. I mean, it's easy to say, you need to hit him. How can you let him run free? But I mean, that's part of what they do offensively. They kind of force your hand a little bit.
Dan, you and Bill Belichick were both influenced by Bill Parcells. How much would you say Parcells' style is into your style and what you bring?
I think the biggest thing for me that I would take away from Bill is just how to deal with players and personalities and things of that nature. I've said it before, nobody is as good as Bill Parcells at motivating players, and just the way he did it, he knew who needed a hug. He knew who needed a kick in the rear, and he knew who needs to be challenged, who needed to be built up. And to me, those were things that I remember most about Bill. I mean, he was a great game manager. He knew exactly how to attack teams, what we had to do as a whole team, offense, defense, special teams. You know, certainly those game situations, you know, you never forget. But just as far as dealing with players, to me, that's what I learned more from him than anything.
Dan, on the topic of Bill, the Marlins manager finished last season. Dan Jennings said he maintained conversations with Bill all season. Have you maintained contact with him since your initial talk with him after you got the job?
No, I mean, I would say it was probably a couple of days after I got the job was the last time that I had talked to him. But certainly that won't be over, and I'll be in contact with him.
Then your rookie draft class, I know you've talked about Devontae. Lippett was active for the first time last week. Douglas has gotten a look. Bobby McCain, we just talked about. How have they been? They seem that they've kind of been immersed early and gotten some decent results, mixed results. But what do you think about those guys? Yeah,
I mean, there again, I like the class. I mean, I think it's a talented class. I think it's, overall it's a gritty class. I think they're competitors. I think they all bring something to the table, bring something to the team that we need, and it's good to have a group of young guys that are working the way they work and want to be involved and want to be out there, and it's impressive to me.
What was the thinking with Lippett activating him last week?
He was another corner for us. I mean, not having Bryce McCain, he gave us another corner. He was a guy that can play a little bit of special teams outside, and that was the whole reason for bringing him along.
Last question for Coach.
I'm not sure how much you pay attention to outside things, outside expectations, but it seems like this group is starting to have high expectations. People are patting themselves on the back. How do you keep this group grounded?
I mean, I would say it's easy right now. When you're going in to play New England on a Thursday night, you don't have to worry about being grounded. I mean, we know we got our hands full. I mean, so to me, patting yourself on the back, all that, these guys are, I mean, we know what we have in front of us, and we know it's not going to be easy. And overconfident is the last thing that we're going to be doing when we walk in Thursday.
All right, thanks, guys. The bathroom's open.
Thanks.